Good morning, Kingdom Kids. Lovely to see you. Lovely to have you with us once again. And today, we've got another great story for you. But before I get on to that, I'd like to ask you a question. Do you know what year it is? Yeah, 2020. That's what it's called. And what does that mean? Well, it really means like it's over 2,000 years since Jesus was born. That's all it really means. But there's a really, really special year that Christ the Rock are looking at the moment. It's called the Year of the Lord's Favour. And to be honest, it's not actually a year. It just means a time. It just means, well, the Year of the Lord's Favour is when you're forgiven from everything, when you don't owe anything anymore. All your debts are gone. It's another adult way of saying it. So everything is forgiven. You know how it is sometimes when you've done something wrong and you feel a bit guilty and your face goes all like that, and you want to hide and stuff like that? Imagine you don't have to feel guilty again because everything's been forgiven. Well, I tell you what, rather than me talk about it, there's this brilliant story in the Bible which explains it really, really carefully and clearly. Jesus told it. Now, we haven't got Jesus here today to tell the story, but we've got one of his best friends, Deborah. She's going to tell it right now.
Hello! What fun! So, I'm one of Jesus' special friends, just like you are. Isn't it fantastic? Do you remember? Friends? Anyway, so I get to tell the story. And the story is a parable, one of those special stories that Jesus told. There was a man, a dad, and he had two sons. And they worked on a farm, the dad owned the farm, and they did really well. But one of the sons was a bit grumpy, and he didn't want to be there anymore. He knew that when his dad died, he would get half the farm and half the money, and he didn't want to wait till his dad died. So he went to his dad, and he said, "Dad, I want my share of the money now." That caused the dad great sadness, but the dad loved his boy so much that he gave half the stuff to his son. The son took it and went off, left the dad, left his older brother, and left the farm and went off and started spending the money, and lots of people came to him for friends, spend more money and wild parties. He had to spend so much money on food and on drink and on just wild living. But the money started running out, and as the money started running out, the wild living started going down, and the friends started going away, and then there was no money, and there was no friends. So you can imagine he got a bit hungry. No one would give him any food, no one at all. What am I going to do? He had to get a job. So he went for a job. He worked in a farm feeding pigs. That was the only job that he could actually do, was feeding pigs, which was really bad for him to do that in those days. But that's all he can do. And as he was giving food to the pigs, he was thinking, I want that food. But he couldn't have it. What am I doing, he thought. If I went back to my own father's farm, I could be hired as a servant and I would be doing a lot better than I am here. So he left that farm and he walked back to his father's farm. Meanwhile, back at his father's farm, his dad, in the distance, could see that his son was coming. Now, he wasn't really mad. He wasn't thinking, oh, that boy went off with half my money. No, he was so happy that he picked up his clothes and he ran to his son and wrapped his arms around him. He put a cloak on his back, he put a ring on his finger, and he told his servant, "Have a party, my son is back." He just loved him so much. It was amazing. Well, meanwhile, the older brother, who had been working on the farm, was not happy at all. I have been here working my socks off while my brother goes off with half my father's money, spends it all, comes back and he has a party. Ugh! He was not happy. Now, the dad got to hear about this. The dad said, "Son, you have been with me the whole time. You have had everything that I've had the whole time. But my other son, he was dead, but now he's alive. wow, that's amazing, isn't it? He was loved so much and forgiven so much and was back in the family.
So, what did you think about that story? Did you think that the son was a little bit naughty, that he'd taken his money away from his dad and gone away and spent it all in silly ways? Well, you know, I think he really should have been told off. But he did feel really bad in the end, didn't he, because of what he'd done and how badly he'd been. And he went back to see his dad, who forgave him. And the difference it felt for him that he'd been forgiven. He didn't have to earn it anymore. He didn't have to be a slave for his dad. His dad didn't want that. He just wanted to have the best relationship possible with his son. He wanted to be with him. He flung his arms around him and gave him a cuddle. That was a bit difficult for his brother to understand because he thought he should have been told off. But the most important thing, as it tells you in that story, is that it's really nice to have a lovely relationship with your Father in heaven, who loves you so much. He wants to forgive you so that you don't feel bad anymore, and we can just be at peace and loved and be loving. And that's what we should do all the time. We should know that if we ask God to forgive us, He forgives us. We don't have to feel bad or sad or hide under the bedclothes or behind a sofa. We can just know that we're forgiven and God wants to give us a great big hug. So, if you feel like that, go and say sorry and then give God the biggest hug, because He'll give you one back because He loves you so much.